Okay, we'll see now the Rambam. We're gonna get to learn the Rambam inside. The Rambam, perek Yudalet. So we're gonna start first with showing a diagram, and then we're gonna see the Rambam. First, we start with this diagram. This diagram shows after we spoke last week about the Sefes HaMasl. Now, this is going to be Maslul HaNochen. So here, it explains, in this diagram, explains very well what means Maslul HaNochen. Okay, take a look. This is Aretz. This is the earth. This, A, you see A here. A is the position of the Yerech and Tzoy, the mean moon. Here we have B. It says Yerech. This is where the moon is really. The moon turns. It goes the angle from AO till AB. We explained that this is composed as a combination of two motions. There's two sticks in this AO. There's a tiny stick and then there's another stick, and both of them together create this angle, and we have right now the moon at point B. So this is the final angle. So what do we need? We need to find out that somebody stands on the Aretz and sees the moon at B. There's this angle here that we'll soon see in another picture. That's called the we'll get to that soon. So Manas HaMasl. It's a certain portion, a tiny portion, that we see it. We see the real moon on a position that's a little bit before, in this case, let's assume that this point here is 0 on the Galgal HaMazalis, and let's assume that the point O is this angle, let's say is 40, 45. So if you view it from Earth to B, you only have this angle would be only 43. So the angle from Aretz B Aretz 0 is less than the angle A Aretz 0, and that angle that is less is called the Manas HaMasl. So this angle OAB, once you know this, the Rambam gives us, once we know the Maslul HaNochen, the Rambam gives us the Manas HaMasl. So I wrote here Sach HaKol Achetanias Galgal HaKot Mitzad Atzmai plus Mitzad HaToze. Explained last week what that means. The Maslul HaNochen is right now 70. This angle here is 70. Equals 70. Now here we have another diagram. This shows Im Hoye Yosra 180 Toisef. So here it shows this is the stick started off here. Alright. It made a nice turn, more than 100. This is a full 180. It went all the way till here. This M is the moon. So if you realize what happens once it's more than 180, then the angle is added. The Manas HaMasl is an additive instead of subtractive. As you see here, 0 Aretz moon is more, the angle is bigger, wider than 0 Aretz A. So this is what the Rambam is going to say soon. We're going to show it inside, that if the Maslul HaNochen, that's this angle here, is more than 180, then you will always add the number to the Yereich Mtzoi instead of subtracting. Toisef. Gagel Akotan Sibif count 309. This angle here is 309. Alken Yesh Lo Hoisef. A is the Emtza Yereich. Let's show one more diagram. This is called Manas HaMaslo. This is what we explained before. Rambam says, perek tes vav, halacha vav, akama hi Manas HaMaslo. That's this angle here, C, E, Y. This is this tiny angle here, Manas HaMaslo. And here we see that the moon went from CO till, in a small epicycle, in a small cycle, it went from CO to CY. This is about 40 degrees. So we have a Manas HaMaslo here, and in this case we subtract. Oh, I wrote here, OCY is 32. OCY is 32. So this angle is 32. That's called the Maslo HaNochen. Maslo HaNochen is 32. The Rambam says, Yev Shloishim Tia 224. So this tiny angle here is 224. Obviously, it's more because this whole picture is not the real proportion, but just for illustrative purposes, we understand that this is supposed to be, if this angle OCY is 32, then the angle here in the bottom, Manas HaMaslo, would be 2 degrees and 24. The Goyren Oisim Emtza Yereich, the Haini TEC. So this shows how this has an effect. The angle OCY has an effect on the Manas HaMaslo. Let's go continue this page a little bit. See if we have another diagram, and then we'll see the Rambam. Goyer and Oisem and Emtza Yereich. Oh, so the Emtza Yereich is TEC. That's the Emtza, because this is where the mean moon is. This point C. And this angle you subtract from the Emtza Yereich. This we showed already. This doesn't belong here. Okay, this we also showed already in the previous. Okay, I guess we finished already all the diagrams, so we can go to the Rambam. Okay. Hayarech Shnei Mahalchem Emtzoim Yeshloi. Hayarech Atzmoi Msabiv Begalgal Cotton She'enei Makiv Sa'olam. This is a small circle. It's called in English the epicycle. Mahalcha ha'emtzoi, and the mean mahalach. Okay, I copied this because it could now fit in a single page. Okay, so the Rambam says, so this is called Emtza HaMaslo, that the thing that it goes in its small circle. So Emtza Yereich is that point C that is the mean moon, what we call, that goes 13 degrees and 13 halakim. So the Rambam is right away giving you these two things, that there's a mean moon, and then there's the real moon that's like on a stick that goes around the mean moon. The Emtza Yereich, let's not forget, that's called the mean moon. So that's the point in the center of the epicycle. And that goes each day 13 and Chalokim. The Rambam gives you the Siman, and I'm not going to say inside, you can see the Rambam gives you for days and for years. Just take a look. Okay. Now, in Siv Gimel, Ma'alach Emtza Masl. Let's not forget, Emtza Masl is the epicycle. I'll show you once more, you should understand. Emtza Masl is this stick here, Emtza Masl. This one. The movement of AO till AB. That's called Emtza Masl. And it's Emtza. Why is it a mean? Because it does not travel every day exactly the same. Since there's that tiny movement of to and fro, the oscillating movement, as we explained, that causes it a drop, one day a drop more, one day a drop less, but the average movement, the Rambam says, is that. So the Rambam is going to give us the numbers to know exact, but let's first know that roughly it's this is what's happening here. Emtza Masl means that epicycle movement is only 13 degrees and 3 chalakim. And again, the Rambam gives you all. From now on, I'll call that the epicycle. That's called a tiny cycle that goes. That's how it's called in English. So the epicycle goes 13 degrees and 3 chalakim. The Rambam gives you again numbers. I'll skip it. You can look at it his own. Okay, now the Rambam says an interesting thing. Im hoisa shemesh. So I'll give an introduction to understand this Rambam. There is a tiny problem here. The problem is that really, when we want to figure out, the Rambam is going to give us next perek how to get the Yereich Hamiti. Once you know the Emtza Yereich, and then you know the epicycle, and you have the Tzefas HaMaslo because of that small movement. Finally, you get the Manasa Maslo. We'll see that later. But the problem is that there's a tiny problem here, that we calculate from a date that the Shkia is, let's say, 6 o'clock. However, if you want to know the moon in the middle of the summer, the Shkia is later, and we calculate full days of 24 hours. So we have to add a drop for the movement on this hour. That so the Rambam says now, so that starts, the problem starts even before that. Actually, that's where the biggest problem is, because the other stuff is so tiny, the Rambam doesn't have to address it. But the Emtza Yereich, we have to somehow compensate it, because it moves a little bit in that hour. So we cannot just ignore this hour. So the Rambam says, you must add a drop. It travels in this hour 15 chalakim. And then later you go in the summer, the later the Shkia is, the more you have to add. And then the Rambam goes, I'm not going to learn inside, but you can see winter you have to subtract. So the Rambam started off at a starting point that's the Kufas Nissen. But if you're in winter, then the Shkia is earlier. So we counted full days of 24 hours. But since the Shkia is earlier, and the moon is always visible right after the Shkia by the Moiled, so we have to compensate and we have to take in consideration this Shkia that's earlier or later. And according to the drama, gives you Tigra. By summer you add, and by winter is Tigra. Now let's just look at the last halacha. Or even leave it as it is. Let's say it's Nisan Tishrei. Who Emtza Yereich la'achashki esachame v'kmoi shlisha. So the Rambam, when he started off his starting point, he was referring to a date. You see it early in the Rambam. It was Nisan time. It was 20 minutes after the Shkia. So that is the time from when the epoch is, the starting point, from the